Right, now we're going to look at 4.4, the absence of the property rights. Right, so the property right that we are talking about is one of it is the Kiosk theorem. So this one is developed by Ronald Kiosk, Nobel laureate in 1991. Right, so the Kiosk theorem. Okay, what is property rights? It is a valid claims to a good or resource that permit the use and transfer of ownership through sale. For environmental goods, it is unclear who owns the right. Economics says it's the absence of rights that matters, not who possesses them. So we are not talking about who possesses or who owns, who owns the property, right? But we are going to look at the uh, property rights. Okay, so how it works. Right, for this theorem, Kiosk theorem, it is proper assignment of property rights, even if externalities are present, will allow bargaining between parties such that efficient solution results regardless of who holds rights. So meaning that it assigning a property right to a person that they are willing to reduce the externalities. And we assume costless transaction, and we assume damages are accessible and measurable. And how to build the model. So this is the refined petroleum market. So refineries use the river to release chemicals as an unintended byproduct of production. The objective is to maximize profit. But for recreational user, they will use the river for swimming and boating to maximize utility. So we have both parties here, those who owns the petroleum market and those who are the users, right? Okay, and bargaining will start if, for example, okay, so bargaining will happen, yeah, when the rights belong to the refineries. So let's say the right belongs to the company. So recreational users are willing to pay refineries for each unit of quantity not produced. So they will pay up to the negative effect on utility, marginal external cost. And refineries willing to accept payment not to produce. And they will accept payment greater than their loss in profit from contracting production, marginal profit. So meaning that the user willing to pay for the company or refineries not to produce the goods because they want to conserve the environment, and refineries will willing to accept the payment if not if the payment is not less than the marginal profit. And initial point is QC, since the refineries who owns the rights will choose this point. Recreational user willing to offer a payment P. Yeah. So if the payment is less than marginal social cost minus marginal private cost, or less than marginal external cost, and referee is willing to accept payment if it is more than marginal private benefit minus marginal private cost or marginal profit, right? And this is bargaining happens. So it will happen here. So this one is the okay, let's say this is the quantity C. So this is the marginal external cost at QC is XY, right? And marginal profit at QC is 0. And bargaining will begin here. All right. And at QE, marginal external cost will equal to the marginal profit. So bargaining will end here. So between QC and QE, marginal external cost is greater than marginal profit. So bargaining proceeds. So whenever the marginal external cost is greater than marginal profit, the bargaining process will happen until the marginal external cost equals to the marginal profit. Right? So here, bargaining should continue as long as this marginal external cost greater than the marginal profit. Okay. And at QC refineries, marginal profit equals to 0, but marginal external cost greater than 0, the distance XY. So since marginal external cost is greater than marginal profit, bargaining will begins. And between QC and QE, same condition holds. At QE, marginal external cost equals to marginal profit, the distance established at just now. So output reductions beyond this point are infeasible since marginal profit greater than marginal external cost, right? So bargaining, what happened to what happened to the situations when the rights belongs to the recreational users? So bargaining will proceed analogously. So it will happen, yeah, the bargain process will occur same as before. An efficient outcome can be realized without government intervention. So This means that this chaos theorem is good, one of the best theory, yeah, because the efficient outcome can be realized with the government intervention. But there are limitations. There are some disadvantages because just now we assumed that there is no cost involved and the damages can be measured. But in reality, the cost cannot be zero. The cost, everything that we do, okay, we should bear the cost. And also the damages is hard to measure. Yeah. And at minimum, it must be the case that very few individuals are involved on each side of the market. So we cannot say, yeah, people who involved in this, companies and also users, they are a lot of people. So we assume here there is only two kind of person, yeah, two segment of people that involved in this bargaining process, but in reality, it is not, right? And so what is common property resources? Okay, so common property resources are those for which property rights are shared. Because property rights extend to more than one individual, they are not as clearly defined as for pure private goods. And the problem is that public access without any control leads to exploitation, which in turn generates a negative externality. So what is the solution to externality? Of course, we need the government intervention. Internalize externality by assigning property rights by government, right? Or set policy prescription, set standards on pollution allowed, tax polluter equal to marginal external cost at QE, and establish a market in price for pollution, right? So that's it for chapter 4, 4.4.4, if I'm not mistaken. So that's it. Thank you so much.